Hi, welcome to Breaking the Paddles. My name's Ashley.
My name's Dean.
And today we're going to be taking a look back and reviewing one of our most highly anticipated movies of all time, Justice League.
Justice League was directed by Zack Snyder and finished up by Joss Whedon, who co-wrote this film. Ben Affleck's back as Batman, and Henry Cavill as Superman, and Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
They are also joined by Ezra Miller as The Flash, Ray Fisher as Cyborg, and Jason Momoa as Aquaman. What did you think of this movie?
Well, we saw it at the midnight showing, and then
did.
we went a couple of days later and we went to see it again to turn our geek brain off and just to watch it and enjoy it. And I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. I don't know where it gets a lot of the hate from.
Yeah, very polarising, this film.
Yeah, yet again, I think that
Yeah.
Zack Snyder brings it. Unfortunately, he had to leave, and you can see where Joss Whedon has taken over. There is a lot more humour in it. Whether you like that or not, it's there.
Yeah.
This film initially came out at 2 hours and 41 minutes.
Yes.
The first run
That's
time.
right.
And unfortunately, we got 2 hours, just over 2 hours, at like 2 hour 1 minute, I think it was. But overall, I think it's a really fun film. I don't think it's going to change the world. I don't think it's not a massive blockbuster for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But thoroughly enjoyed it, and I feel it's the most realistic comic book movie there is. And there's one scene that we'll talk about a bit later, which I think definitely. What do you reckon, man?
I'd have to say, like Dean said, we saw this movie twice. I didn't love it the first time round.
Right,
I just didn't. It might be just
know.
myself. I know myself, and sometimes it takes me a second or third viewing to really appreciate something. I didn't love this movie the first time round, but my God, when we saw it the second time round, I loved it.
Yep.
Yeah, I absolutely adored it. Lots and lots of comic book DC fan service.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is definitely a love letter to the DC fans.
Loads of nods. But my favourite scenes, I have to say, like if we broke down my favourite scenes, the opening scene with Batman on the rooftops, straight out of a comic.
Well, it's straight out of Justice League Origin.
Oh, amazing! Yes, going after the parademons. You saw him. As soon as like that bad guy closes the window, you can see him. We're not going to do any spoilers, so don't worry. So we will only going to talk about scenes briefly. But yeah, there's a reflection of Batman in the window, and straight as soon as that, you think, yeah, this is going to be kick-ass. So.
Yeah, and Gotham just looks like Gotham from the games, from Arkham Asylum and Arkham Knight. They're such revered games, and that truly is the perfect representation of Gotham.
Definitely.
And we got that. It didn't feel like Chicago like it did sometimes in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Nolan trilogy.
It felt like Gotham.
Yeah, and the Amazons are back.
Yes, and they were just as good as they were in Wonder Woman, as far as I'm concerned. They were amazing.
Their scene is like a running scene, and it just goes on and on and on, and it's building, and you really feel like, come on, you're on the edge of the seat with them, and that's the thing. Like this film, it had some great moments, and unfortunately, it was a little bit choppy. I feel.
I felt that more the first time round. Actually, I didn't think it was choppy at all the second time round.
Okay.
There were a lot of scenes.
Yes.
There were a lot of scenes compacted together in a short space of time at the beginning of this movie. I will give you that.
Yeah, and you can see where it was cut.
Yeah.
Like you can see where like a character development might have been slightly a bit better, but then it was cut. But it was cut right, I think.
Yeah.
It wasn't like halfway through a sentence kind of thing. You didn't feel like what just happened.
Yeah,
there,
that's
really.
right. That's right.
Okay, so Steppenwolf, what did you think?
Well, Steppenwolf was a tricky one for me because he did feel to me like he was the big bad.
Yeah.
Now I know, again, no spoilers. He should be heralding someone else.
Yeah.
They do mention it once.
Yes.
But I did feel like he was the big bad. I wasn't 100% convinced with CGI all the time of him.
Yeah.
I perhaps would like to have seen a human, a man.
I think we're losing that a little bit.
But the voice was great.
Voice was great.
Very
voice was great.
good.
I do feel as well with Steppenwolf as well. Obviously, there is going to be a bigger bad, kind of like that. What Thanos has got with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. There's going to be someone which is going to be Darkseid.
Yeah, of course. And they did say his name in it. So.
If anyone reads the comics and stuff like that, it's not mentioned in this film to say, "Oh, he's coming." But if you're a geek like us, you know Darkseid is coming. And I feel with Darkseid it will be an alien invasion, pretty much the same as you got with Steppenwolf.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what they've done, they made Steppenwolf a big bad, but it was more about the team building.
Yeah.
Where if Darkseid does come, if we do get another Justice League film, it will be about the big bad, and it'll be more of a threat.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I felt Steppenwolf wasn't a big threat. It didn't feel worldwide threat to me. It felt very kind of like Suicide Squad was. It was like, well, if you weren't in that city, you wouldn't have to worry about that threat.
Yeah.
And I felt that a little bit with Steppenwolf,
Yeah.
and that's why I was a bit deflated about this villain. But I think they're holding back because as soon as Darkseid comes, then he's going to take it away. Really.
Well, of course, I mean, in the film, Diana, for the large part, was our eyes to the past and what had transpired originally with like the Amazons and their link with the Atlanteans, and again their link with Man's World.
Yeah.
So she was a lot of the she was the eyes for a lot of the past and the retelling of what's gone on and what's going to affect the future. So that was really nice.
Yeah.
I thought she had a really good scene. That bank robbery scene was really good.
Brilliant. You see a lot of it in the trailer,
Yeah.
which is a shame because trailers do show a lot. But yeah, the way she moves, the way they've got her fighting done, like we spoke about in the past, where like she's not there to.
Yeah, she doesn't want to really maul someone. She doesn't want to batter them. She's trying to do bare minimum.
Yeah.
And that whole thing with the bullets and her bracelets was amazing. Straight out of the comics.
We've talked about the Amazons, and it's our first time we see the Atlanteans.
Well, that was good. It was bittersweet because there's a lot of... This is one of the things about the movie that I think kind of upset me to begin with.
Yeah.
That with all the trailers, there was a lot of footage in the trailers that didn't make the final cut.
No.
A lot of prominent
Cyborg
footage.
hitting the car.
Yeah.
And,
Well, the whole bit with Jeremy Irons, Alfred, saying to... We presume it's Superman.
Yeah.
You know...
we thought you'd come in. We'd hoped you'd come.
Definitely. Yeah, let's hope it's not too late. So, and through that, there was a lot of footage that I'd seen of the Atlanteans, and there was a character completely cut from this final edit.
Yeah,
of
there's
the
also
movie.
There's some figures that are coming out that are out, and they didn't even make the cut.
So that was William Dafoe's Volko.
Yeah,
who's a prominent character. Who was certainly a prominent character in the New 52 books.
Yeah.
The Atlanteans. Because I knew there should have been more of them, was a little bit disheartening. I wanted to see more of Mira because she was really good in it.
She looked great. I liked the underwater fight. That was really good.
Yeah.
Overall CGI, what did you think of the CGI in this film?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Like Dean said at the beginning of the video, we went to see this in IMAX 3D, the midnight showing, and I thought that was the best 3D transfer I'd ever seen.
But I think it's because they didn't try and make it 3D. It wasn't like things were jumping out at you, and like it's a film like, oh yeah, look. It was making it a bit more crisper. It was making it layered, and I think that works better in a way. Just trying to make it 3D for the sake of making it 3D.
But I thought the CGI was absolutely superb.
Yeah. There was a couple of scenes which I was a bit like. There's a part where a character floats down and he's topless, and it was just like it looked very CGI. It looked like a rubber man, and you could have done that on strings, like Richard Donner done it with
Christopher Reeves.
And it looks beautiful. And I think you could have done that, and which just really surprised me because Zack Snyder does a lot of practical effects, and I think this film was relied a little bit too heavily on CGI.
Yeah. What did you think about the newcomers to the franchise then? We had Ray Fisher as Cyborg.
Brilliant.
We had Jason Momoa as Aquaman, but then we had Ezra Miller as the Flash.
Ezra Miller had big shoes to fill. Everyone loves Grant Gustin's The Flash in the TV series, but this was a very younger, very naive Barry, and it fitted perfectly.
He was sensational, wasn't he?
It was really good. He had the comic relief, but it wasn't just jokes for the sake of jokes, which you've seen in a lot of superhero movies lately. It's very jokes to break that atmosphere. He'll come out with little cheeky one-liners and that sideways look. And
I liked his dad. I liked the sort of like the dad element of it as well.
Yeah.
Because that was a scene, or that was a part of the movie that I feared was going to get the cut.
Yeah.
Because of course, Kirstie Clemens, who plays Iris, did get the cut.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I do think there is a whole other Justice League movie out there, or at least another half of what we've already seen out there. I have seen online there's over 100,000 people on a petition for the full Zack Snyder cut to be released, like Batman versus Superman. What do you think of that? Would you like to see that?
Obviously, more Justice League, the better for me.
Yeah.
But as a film, I enjoyed it for what it was. It had its flaws. I don't think it deserves the flack that it's getting. It seems like a lot of people that haven't seen it are going, I've heard it's rubbish, I'm not going to go and see it. But then a lot of people that have seen it say they enjoy it.
Yeah.
No one no one's saying, "Oh, it's the best,"
Yeah.
and I understand that it's not the best superhero movie out there for me, but it's a good fun film.
Yeah.
It's got some great comic book moments. It's got some good acting in it. The CGI at times is amazing. I love the character development with Cyborg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was more of a monster, wasn't he? You know, he was in the shadows. He had his hood up. A lot of his scenes were dark.
Yeah, and I'm really intrigued to see more of Aquaman next year. So.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you touched upon it earlier on. Now, again, without spoilers, that fight scene.
There's two fights. The mid one.
Well, let's go for the one that I think
at the
most
memorial?
comic book fans went a bit kind of crazy over.
Yeah, there's a fight scene at the memorial in Metropolis, and that was amazing. There's some blows in there that you've wanted to see for a long time. Mm-hmm. Each character got their own little bit.
Yep.
There's a great scene where Cyborg is fighting the mechanics, and I think that's a really good story there, where like the engine inside of him is taking over the human side, and that character development, I love that, and I'd like to see a bit more of that. And seeing that in that scene was like, oh, that's really clever. And there's one sideways look to another character, and I wet myself.
It was a really good scene. It was timed just right, and of course it was in daylight.
Yeah,
it was in daylight. Was it? Or daylight going into
like dusk kind of thing.
Yeah, so that was really nice. I do think via that scene that they've definitely taken a lot on board from how previous movies have been criticised.
Yeah.
There's one scene at the end where, when I first saw it, one of my comments was, it felt like there was hardly anyone in this scene. There was hardly anyone inhabiting the area. Because in Man of Steel, obviously that scene with Zod got heavily criticised because there was a ton of collateral damage. Yeah. But at the same time, it felt like a very vastly populated city.
Yeah, definitely.
In this movie, this sequence, when I first saw it, didn't feel like it was as highly populated. Yeah. But then, of course, after a second viewing, I learned, there was a little bit. There was a reason behind it.
Saying that, do you feel this film got cut down? It got very trimmed because of the criticism, the other films, and where critics slated the other ones, whether it was just or not. This film was a different film to what Zack Snyder initially had in mind.
Well, I just think that these superhero movies, and definitely DC movies in particular, they seem to have a lot of studio oversight at the moment. They really do. I just feel like with certain films, definitely the Marvel films, they seem to have a director in place, and they really do let that director run with the ball. Because I say that because, like with Thor Ragnarok, there was definitely a tone to that film. It was definitely the most comedic film out of, I think, all the Marvel movies.
Yeah, even more than
Guardians. I think we're going to get Black Panther that's going to be totally different. I think that's going to be a different tone.
Definitely.
And I just feel there's a lot of oversight with the DC movies at the moment. And there was a lot of oversight in this one.
Yeah.
I think they'd really taken on board the criticism that past DC efforts had taken, and they'd really laid it on thick with this one, because it doesn't feel tonally the same as Man of Steel and BVS to me, unfortunately. And even Wonder Woman.
And when you get an executive coming out that's saying, I don't want this film running over 2 hours, that makes no sense. If a story's there to be told, whether it takes 2 hours or 2 hours 20, 2 hours 40, it takes that time.
Yeah.
And if you're coming out without even seeing the film or just coming out going, oh, I'm the big cheese, I don't want it being 2 hours long.
Yeah. Well, you make a really good point, because one movie that did sort of suffer this was, of course, one of my favourite movies of this year, Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah.
Now, Blade Runner 2049 was 2 hours and 40 minutes, if I believe, or something similar to that. And it just didn't do very well at the box office.
No.
Did it? It was a beautiful film, whether you like it or hate it. It was still, for me, a very beautiful film. It was definitely the director's vision, and it came out in full fruition. There was no oversight.
People didn't want to see it because it was so long, and going to see that after work, getting some dinner, it's too long.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so we're going to wrap this review up. I think I want to touch upon the after credit scenes.
Yeah, without spoiling.
Well, definitely, without spoiling.
There two, so stay to the very end.
Well, the first one was really nice, very colourful, a real sort of
nod to the fans. Yeah, and really playful. Really, really.
It was a question that DC fans. It's a very popular question within the community of DC comics.
If you're in a comic book shop, you'll know you get one guy asking it.
Yeah,
it's always like who'd win out of a fight, Superman and Hulk. It's on that very. Similar.
But it was very colourful. Yeah. It was seeing the characters' personalities pop in.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, and there was another one right at the end after all the credits, Wow, this one was more of the one that's going to lead the way, I think.
Yeah.
It has a very popular DC character, very entrenched in DC lore that we've never seen before on film.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw it, I was salivating at the thought of, wow, where's this character going to pop up next?
Yeah. It's interesting because obviously with all the talks with the future of the DCEU, this kind of cemented like, no, we're still doing it. This is what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm intrigued to see what they do.
Definitely. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed our video. I hope you enjoyed Justice League. Please remember to comment below. Also remember to like and subscribe. You can find us all over social media at Breaking the Panels.